So I wanted to wholesale it, grab a little fee, and go about my business. But when they came and said, "Hey, I'm interested," I saw this as an opportunity to do it again. What can I say? And partner with women and teach at the same time. And it just everything just lined up. And I have the aspect of having the empty lot, right? Like I want to develop. That is my goal. So I'm feeling like, okay, maybe all right, God, I hear you. You know what I mean? Maybe this is what you're telling me I need to move forward and do. So
Welcome to the Share the Wealth Show, where minority professionals can learn to escape the racial wealth gap and catapult themselves into abundance. Your host, Nicole Pendergrass, grew her net worth from being negative to multiple six figures. Join her on her investigative mission to expose secret strategies of the wealthy so we can all have the tools needed to build the life and legacy we were created to possess. Now it's time for the show.
Hey guys, so we're back again. This is the second part of the episode with today's guest. I need you, if you have not heard part one, go back to the previous episode and listen to that first, and then come back and join us here today. You need to hear the whole conversation. This is why we split into two parts. There's so many nuggets. It's so juicy. Go back and listen to the first part.
All right. Other thing I want to talk about. You mentioned it. You said as your jobs get bigger, your costs get bigger, right? Costs. I hear a lot of people, especially like newer investors, not knowing where to get the money. And like maybe they talk about, they are very being creative. Actually, just had a conversation with somebody earlier today who was asking me some advice on things. But she was looking at a HELOC. I also told her about taking a loan from her 403B, like her retirement account, because she was nervous to do that because she was trying to build that up. I'm like, is your retirement account going to fund your retirement, or is your real estate going to fund your retirement? She was like, you're absolutely right. So
yeah, absolutely right.
don't worry about tapping in. You're not withdrawing. You're just taking a loan from it. So I think she's going to do it too. But then also looking at like business credit to get some credit cards, from her LLC to, get some business funding that way and pull the money off those cards. And then also she's talking to hard money lenders, and she's nervous because it's the first time she ever used hard money, right? So it's all of these things, and what she's trying to build everything together that she needs to be able to access, this deal that's like right next to a property that she already owns, right? And I know you have dabbled in all of these things, right? And with all of the deals that you have done and conversions that you have done, what's the type of financing you have been able to use? And then we'll dig into it from there with any other questions that come up.
I've used both, right? I've used hard money as well as business credit, as well as business credit. Now, this particular deal, I was able to get some young, new investors to invest with me, as for the purchase of it. And we're going to use
like private lenders, basically.
Say that again.
So they were almost like private lenders, or they were equity?
Yeah, we can call them private lenders, but they're going to be a part of it. They're going to learn the process and things of that nature right along with me.
So it's like an equity split. Like they're into.
Yeah, they have an equity split. Absolutely.
Joint venture. Okay. More like a joint venture partner. Okay.
It is exactly a joint venture partnership.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
And we're gonna do that route. So that's one way of getting funding, right? Is getting some people together and say, hey, let's take on this project together. But the other ones is business credit as well as my hard money lender.
Okay. So hard money. I think hard money is pretty, I'm gonna say simple, but it's pretty straightforward. Like when you find somebody who does hard money, they have certain terms and things and LTVs they allow. With LTVs, loan to value, for the amount of the loan versus the value of the property versus like as is value versus like what's the renovated value, so all of that is pretty standard. What's the typical hard money terms that you have seen?
Well, I'll show you. Well, my last one. So this particular deal, I think I got really, really favorable terms. I have a 10.25 interest rate. I have 1.1 point. It's a 1.1 point. Instead of the 2 points, the 3 points that, usually brokers would charge, he's charging 1.1.
Okay.
He is doing 90%. I believe it's loan to cost, LTC.
Okay.
He's doing 90%. So, and then we have, I think like a few calls here, $1,000 here, $1,000 there, but that is pretty much it over 12 months, right? So they're going to do, I think the loan amount is maybe 180, and we're asking for a total of two. Let me see, 60, 230. We're asking for 230, and I'm getting one. They're gonna let me 180.
Okay. So the 180 is for the purchase price, but the 230 is to cover some of that purchase price and the renovation costs?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're loaning me, like the loan itself is 180. So that is gonna include purchase price as well, what they're lending towards the purchase price, as well as 100% construction costs.
Oh, the 230 is the 100% construction costs.
To the 230 would be what I would be all in. That's my all in. Right, so they're lending 180 towards that all in, which means the difference is what we bring to the
that
table.
you're bringing to the table. Okay,
Mhm.
got it. Now, and then I see let's hit the other lending option that you mentioned before we get to the business credit, because I think that's where the big question mark and smoke and mirrors, so a lot of people ends up being. The JV kind of private, I'm doing air quotes, private lenders. They're not really private lenders, they're joint venture lenders, but they're learning and investing in the deal, like a education investing kind of, like while you learn kind of thing, right? I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So how did you meet these new hungry investors who had capital, and why did they trust you with their capital and want to partner with you?
That's this great question. One of the investors, one of the investors is someone I work with, right? So I work for Con Edison. I work in New York City, and I've been with Con Edison for the last 20 years. So there's that aspect, right? We know each other, we like each other, we trust each other, and we have a relationship with each other.
First of all, I just need to throw in here, you don't even look 20 years old. So, but go ahead.
I appreciate that. I really, really do. So yeah, so we work together, right? We have done business together. Actually, she is in one of my magazines. So we have a relationship, and she wants to get into real estate, and she knows me, right? I'm the person that she knows that have been in real estate consistent, and I have I'm not saying social media presence, but my social media documents my projects and my deals.
Yeah.
So that's one. And the other 4 young ladies, I'm also a part of an organization or cohort called the Block Society, which is Black Ladies of Construction.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know it sounds oof. I know every time I say it, it gets yeah. Yeah, I am a member of the Block, at least their cohort is part of it. And I have posted this particular deal as a wholesale, right? Like, hey, anybody interested? I know there's a few Philadelphia investors in this particular group because they have done an event that was in Philadelphia. I went to meet them. So I'm like, hey, let me put it in here, see if anybody wants this. Come to find out. And I did put at the bottom of it, JV if interested, open to JV, right? I'm open to take this on myself. But I'm looking for investors if I do it. So some investors got back to me. I'm interested. Jumped on a call. We jumped on a Zoom call. I told them about the deal, told them where I was. I did get terms because I didn't want the deal for myself. It fits my criteria to a T. For Philadelphia, but I just closed, I refinanced something, and I felt like I need to take a break. You know what I mean? Like I need to take a break.
Yeah.
So I wanted to wholesale it, grab a little fee, and go about my business. But when they came and said, "Hey, I'm interested," I saw this as an opportunity to do it again. What can I say? And partner with women and teach at the same time. And it just everything just lined up. And I have the aspect of having the empty lot, right? Like I want to develop. That is my goal. So I'm feeling like, okay, maybe all right, God, I hear you. You know what I mean? Maybe this is what you're telling me I need to move forward and do. So we stayed connected, we did the numbers, we jumped on calls, and we decided to take this down ourselves. So that's how I met everybody.
Nice. I love that story. That's super relatable and seems realistic, right? Join groups, guys. Like,
Join groups, network.
Part of groups to network and be part of groups that are doing what you want to do, and you can network with the people there. And if you're showing up and being consistent, people get to learn who you are, get to know who you are. And you don't need to quit your job before you invest in anything. Like, your job is a leveraging tool, right?
Yes.
Whether it's financing to help you with paying for things, or the people that you're going to meet at your job. You just never know, right? So all of that, I love that.
To build wealth with real estate? Are you all tapped out on YouTube University and ready to get help tailored to your specific situation and goals? Have you always known that you are a little different from the crowd, that you never liked following the status quo, and that you're just tired of living in mediocrity? You want to build wealth on your own terms outside of Wall Street? Well, then maybe the Microfamily Mavericks mentorship program can help with that. It's a community where I handhold you through the process of buying your first small commercial multifamily building, because not everyone is ready for 100 units out the gate. Why multifamily? Because it gives your rental income a hedge against vacancy. Imagine what happens when your single family rental tenant leaves, right? And why commercial 5+ units? Because you have much more control over increasing the building's value in the commercial space, and then in turn, increasing your own net worth. Starting small is a stepping stone to so much more, because then you can tap that equity and buy another building and another and another, and you get the point. So increasing your cash flow and your ability to be job optional along the way. It's all a part of the journey. So if you think big, but you want to start small, and if you know multifamily real estate is a way for you to open the door to building a life of freedom, abundance, and legacy, but you just need someone to guide you step by step, and you want to be surrounded by other people on the same journey, doing the same thing, then just click the link in the show notes to find out a little bit more about the Microfamily Mavericks, and I look forward to potentially seeing you on the inside. So now back to the show.
Okay, last thing I want to hit on here, business credit. Like,
Yes.
You have been one of the people who I know has been successful in utilizing business credit, as far as like credit cards and lines of credit and things like that under the business name, where even for myself, I still struggle trying to get, like, I have get capital, but it's from equity when I refinance a deal. Like, I have not yet been able to really sustain like applications that got me a good amount. And even like, let's say like $50,000, like, which is a lot, but some people think it's a little, some people think like whatever. But even like a $50,000,
you talk to.
depending on who you talk to. But even like a $50,000 line of credit or credit card in my business name, that has been difficult. And like building business credit the traditional way, where you're not supposed to use like
Right.
your social security or all that stuff.
Right.
That way is
It takes time. It takes time.
That's a longer way to build it up. And people kind of, I think, confuse the two. Like, one, if you're getting a credit card, you're leveraging your own personal credit to get the business credit card. They're still hitting you, even though it's not going to show up on your credit report. They're still looking at you first. And then the other way to build business credit is where you don't ever have to use your social security, but you have to get like all these level 1 credit tiers, like your Angel.
Yep.
You got to spend money for things you don't need and you pay that back and work way up the tiers. So there's two different segments of business credit world that people don't realize are two different things. So which side of it are you using, or are you using both sides?
Yeah, I started using both sides. I started using the first side, right? The long way, right? The long game, right? I started using that because that's what I learned. That's what I YouTubed it, and that's all what the people were saying. And I did that. And I built my paydex up to 80, right? And once I got to 80, then I'm able to not really play ball, but enough to where some people won't ask for a guarantor and some they still don't give a F, right? So I played that route. And again, like you said, it takes forever. So I learned ways to leverage myself, who had good credit, and leverage my credit to get some money for my business. And what I'm learning now is that might not particularly be the best way, right? There's another way, and that's incorporating it and actually having it stand alone. I am learning that today. I'm learning that now. And I'm learning that I can transfer my LLC to a corporation and still keep the age of it, which is
Oh,
right. It's the process though.
yeah.
But I'm learning the process now because I'm gonna end up, that's my cat. He wanna play with his toy now. Hey.
Yeah.
So I'm learning that as well. So I've done both, but I have been very successful in leveraging my credit and getting my business some funding, and that's what I use for like my down payments and things of that nature.
Okay. And then also, I'm gonna ask you another question, but I just wanted to go back. The changing your LLC into an S corp, C corp, or whatever corporation entity you're going to use. Everyone, don't just do that blindly. Talk to someone or do a lot
Yes,
of research on it, because depending on what kind of assets you hold in it, sometimes LLC is a better structure and sometimes corporations are a better structure. And there's other
correct.
things underneath that that you need to be aware of, as far as like employment taxes or any taxes and
Yes,
distributions and how you take money out of the entity. So all of that you have to be aware of. So make sure you go talk to either a licensed business specialist, or someone who does,
yep.
CPA, accountant, something like that, that can tell you the differences between all of those and how it affects
Mhm.
like taxes or legalities and all those things. But can you give us an example of like one deal you did where you've used like business credit cards and maybe a line of credit, or like you've used a bunch of maybe a couple of different types of business credit funding to help you close the deal?
Yeah, of course. So my last deal specifically, and then the deal I'm going to close now. Like I'm at a point where I'm using their money, right? So let's just use my last deal per se. So I think I had to come to the closing table with about 31 grand. I have a line of credit with Chase. I have a line of credit for 50,000, so I just transfer that over into my account, close the deal. Now what I will tell you, again, you have to be careful because you have to do your numbers. What does the numbers say, right? So if you're gonna move over 31,000, let's be clear. Why that 50 is sitting there, you're not paying nothing. You're paying zero, right? But once you start utilizing that money, then you're gonna have a monthly payment. So you have to know what that monthly payment is and calculate that into your costs, right? These are your costs to do business, to get this project done. This is a part of your cost. How can you offset that? This is what I did. Okay, this is what I did. What I did is that I got the money back on the back end of my deal. So I worked with a contractor, and I don't know how you want to present this to your audience, but the numbers were a little bit inflated. So let's just say I'm gonna be in this project for 3 months. My bank is gonna charge me $400 a month to borrow this 31,000, right? So that's going to be about $1,200. Maybe you want to give yourself another extra month or two. So let's just say it's $1,600, right? So $1,600 you're going to need to pay these people back while your project is ongoing, right? So all I did was just I talked to my GC that I love so much, and I say, hey, let's calculate these numbers into our costs, and that way when I do my draw, which we do it in demo because we want it out as soon as possible. So when I do my demo, and they give me my drawback, that 1,600 is a part of that draw. And I just put that to the side, and now I have that to pay back. So that's what I did for my last deal.
Ah, okay. Love it. Okay. That's great. Well, I just want to dive into that a little bit because I know people are looking to use business credit or hearing about business credit all the time and not really knowing how to finagle or how it works in real life. So I appreciate you sharing that. I know you used a line of credit, and I know how that works when you're like just transferring over to your bank account. Have you ever pulled money from a credit card, like from a business credit card?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, line of credit is much easier process to do when you're trying to build and get business credit. Like I know people have strategies for how you can pull the money off of a business line of
You can
credit.
pull. I know that, like, so for instance, I have a balance transfer card
Okay.
that they send me checks. So that's a way, like I could have just wrote a check for
Hmm.
that card at closing if I chose. But I didn't
That's
want to use that card. That was a little higher than what it was I was getting from the
yeah.
line of credit.
Okay.
the interest
All right,
rate.
that's cool. Cool. Okay. This was a great follow. Is there anything else that you're doing that we didn't touch on or you want to like share something in the
No,
works?
I think that's about it. That's
That's
enough,
about
right?
it.
That's
About a lot. That's
a lot.
about a lot. That's
That's a
about
lot, a lot. So yeah, what I will say is since the last time we spoke, or you remember I told you that I wanted to not really retire, but take a leave of absence, right? With my job and kind of focus more on business. I did not do that, by the way. But what I did do is I moved into a promotion, right? I got myself a promotion. This promotion it comes with a shift that allows me to have more time off of work. So I'm now actively doing like maybe 14 days out the month of working, and the other 14 I'm on.
Oh, that's great. See, when you can finagle with your job to having a position that doesn't have the traditional 9 to 5 hours and
Yes,
give you more time off during the day and it's kind of, a little bit more flexible that way, that's fantastic. And that's a great way to like leverage your job while
yes,
you have it to still be able to do what you need to do. Oh,
yes.
cool. Love
Are
that.
you enjoying this episode? Then stop what you're doing right now. Head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It really helps our show get pushed to more people who are looking for the information that we're sharing here. We have to share the wealth. If you listen to us on YouTube, make sure you like the episode that you're listening to right now and subscribe to our channel. Then share the channel with somebody else. There are people out there looking for the information you're listening to right now. So make sure you share it with someone who you know needs it. Now, back to the show.
All right. So we're wrapping this up. I'm actually going to go into, the final questions that I ask every guest.
Do it.
I don't know how, like a couple might be the same, but a couple might be different. So first, this one is new for you. If you just won $500 million in the lottery, what's the first thing you do? And then what's the biggest thing you buy? So first thing you do, biggest thing you buy.
First thing I would do is probably roll that thing, or roll some of it over into some type of mutual fund, some type of investment fund, right? That's one of the first things I'll do. That's actually that's the first thing I would do. And what will I buy? I would buy either a land or I will buy a building. I will probably buy a building that is performing well enough so that my job can be an actual option.
Okay. So any kind of building, doesn't even matter what it is, just some kind of building that
A residential building.
A residential building, like a multifamily or something.
A multi-family, multi-building, 20, 30, 40 units, something like that.
Oh, love
Yes.
that. All right. This question you had before. In the game of Monopoly, Boardwalk or Baltic, which one are you buying first and why? And I'm gonna see if you remember what your first answer to this was, if it changed at all.
I really don't, but I think I'm gonna go with Boardwalk. I think Boardwalk, and I have Monopoly right here. I haven't pulled it out in a long time. But let's see if I can picture the board real quick. Baltic, I know is green. I know Baltic is green.
I think it's blue. What? No,
I think Boardwalk is
Boardwalk's blue. I
Boardwalk
think
is blue.
I think Baltic is green. Yeah. So Baltic is
Yeah.
the cheapest property, one of the first ones you hit off of Go, and then Boardwalk is the last one before you get back to pass and go again. So Baltic's the cheapest property. Boardwalk's the most expensive.
I like Broadway. I believe Broadway, if you put some houses on it.
Boardwalk.
Boardwalk, I'm sorry. When you land on it, the fee, the rent is higher. And I think I could be wrong. And I don't remember what I chose before. So maybe you can tell me what it was.
So I actually did re-listen to the end of the last episode so I would know what your answer was. And you said if you're hitting Baltic first, you're going to buy Baltic first because that's the first one that you have availability to buy. You could probably buy it with whatever money you start off with in the game. Like they give you everybody the same amount of money. So I think you said if you hit in Baltic first, you're going to buy it first. But you was drooling over Boardwalk though. You was drooling over Boardwalk. He was like, but that boardwalk though, I want to get that boardwalk. I want to get it. But
Oh yeah,
so
I think that's the one. That's the one right there.
cost. Like you didn't want to waste the opportunity to get Baldwick if you happen to hit that one first.
Copy
So
that.
get it, yeah. So I think that's what.
Sounds like something I'll say.
Yeah. And look, it's apparent in you just saying, hey, I was going to take a break because I just finished this other deal, but then I had this opportunity because everybody wanted to partner, so I just took the opportunity.
Yeah,
right.
pretty much.
All right.
Pretty much.
What does wealth mean to you?
I mean, honestly, independence. Wealth means independence, to do as I please, when I please, where I please. Having the people around me that I please to have, like, you know, like the people around me that is going to fulfill me. That is wealth to me.
Yep. That answer has not changed.
Yeah.
Basically said, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah, that's into the day I clock out of here. That is really what I want to do.
Yes. So I don't know if we had started this the last time you were here. We're asking each guest to create a question for the next guest. This can be anything like business, personal, funny, serious. It doesn't have to be, you know, in line with the show's content, right? But I have a question that the last guest asked for you. So
Okay.
she said, what is something that you believe, but most other people would not agree with?
Super easy. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm a flat earther.
A flat earther? What's that? I
That
think I
means
got it, but I probably have the definition wrong.
I believe the earth is flat. Yes, I do. 100%. 100%. Yes, ma'am.
Ardranae.
I don't care. I don't care. We can fight all day. Clack, clack. I'm standing on that. I don't care what anyone says. I have my
down on
reason.
the flat, 10 toes down on the flat earth.
Nah, you got no. I'm not trying because you don't know. That's why. Because you don't know.
I don't
Because
know.
you don't know. That's a whole different conversation. I can
Is.
bring out books.
Are you able to snippet the evidence that shows you or makes you believe? What's the biggest piece of evidence that makes you believe in the flat earth thing? Because I don't know, but we don't got a whole nother show. We don't got time for that right now. But I need to know at least a snippet, something.
Yeah, sure. I'll let you know.
Oh,
The firmament.
God,
I believe in the firmament.
You believe in the what?
Firmament.
Firmament. Okay. All right. I'll look that up. Everybody look that up.
Everybody look that up. Those who know, you know what I mean? I believe in the firmament. I believe in a higher power.
But what about the pictures from the satellite? Are those AI?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I never believed it. Right? I don't believe the first man who walked on the moon. I don't believe it. I do have a different ideology from everyone else. So no, I don't believe it.
All right. We're gonna leave you with that. We're gonna leave you with that.
Yeah. We're gonna get into it. Don't you worry about it. We'll get into it.
We are. I'm flabbergasted.
She's like, oh no, not you.
I know government in the world, they be feeding us a lot of BS.
That's right.
So
That's right.
and I'm like, have I been to space to see the earth from space myself? No, I haven't. Right.
And
so
we never will. Because we can't. We cannot.
why can't I get on this show?
Because we live in a firmament. Yeah, look it up.
The only time
I'm gonna keep coming back to that, and you're not gonna understand.
That's the only
yeah.
Everybody talk about the firmament is like he created the heavens of the waters above the firmament and below the firmament. Like in the Bible, when they talk about that, that's the only time nobody else in the world used that word. Like
yeah, exactly.
Anybody okay, all right. We got that. Stop all over the place. This is not what we're talking about today. So,
well, you tell that person that is a great question. Thank you for asking.
Okay. I will. And then I'm sure she was not thinking, I'm gonna call her and tell her, but I'm sure she's not thinking that was gonna be easy. I'm gonna let her know. Do you have a question? Can you come up with a question for the next guest?
Yeah, absolutely. Who are you?
Who are you? That's actually a kind of a deep question.
Yeah, it is pretty
That's
deep.
really, that's
I
really,
hope they're ready for it.
I don't know if they are. You're gonna make that turn into a whole other podcast. All right, look, let's go. Everyone, I can't turn. How can people get in contact with you if they want to learn about like redevelopment and splitting units or rehab or business credit or any other thing? Do you help like mentor or teach anybody, or like at least if people want to follow you or pick your ear or however that works for you in your world? How can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, just follow me on social. 9 to 5 entrepreneur. Don't I wish I could tell you. Yeah, just look for 9 to 5 entrepreneur. I don't know if it's 925, the numeral, or
No,
is it
okay.
alpha? Yeah,
I think
I couldn't tell you.
last time that we must have it, and I'll just repaste it in the show notes. I will
All right,
find
cool.
the show notes
Yeah,
for
9 to 5 entrepreneur. You can check out my journey. You can see what I'm doing. Do I teach? I want to. I just haven't structured anything or came up with anything for it, but I'm very open, right? If I'm in Philly, you want to reach out to me and you want to come and you want to walk my projects, just let me know. We can make that happen.
Nice. All right, everybody, you heard that, right? If you had the wisdom to listen to the end of the show, you would now have heard that offer, and you can be in Philly walking properties. All right, that's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah.
In any case, thank you. All right, that's it.
Thank you, Nicole.
We're wrapping
I
this up.
appreciate you, Nicole. Thank you for even sharing
appreciate
your
you.
platform with me so we can share the wealth with the rest of the folks.
Oh,
But
yeah.
please, if anyone's interested, just reach out. You have my socials. So I'm here. I'm an open book.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much. And everyone listening, we will see you on the next episode, but make sure you reach out to Ardranae if you have any questions, or at least at the very least, you got to start following her on social media so you can see all the things that's going on, especially if this is up your alley of something that you want us to do and get involved in. All right. So thank you, Ardranae, and peace out, everybody.
Thank you, Nicole.
Did you love this episode of Share the Wealth Show? Be sure to connect with Nicole by following her on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. If you picked up any of the gems that were dropped by today's guest, make sure you not only put them in your bag, but if you know of someone who would benefit from this information, don't keep it to yourself. Share the wealth and make sure to leave us a rating and review. We'll see you for next week's episode. Subscribe so you'll be notified.